Sam and Nia, I'm so happy that you guys are here with me today. Thank you for joining me on Misunderstood.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're glad to be here.
So, all right, let me start by saying this weekend when Ashley Madison Sex Lies and Scandals came out, I thought I was going to sit down and like do my dishes in the background. I had to stop what I was doing and I watched every single episode back to back. And it was really because of you guys. I was rooting for you guys. I wanted to know what happened. You guys were filmed separately. Spoiler alert, you guys are together still. And I was like, I had so many questions. So I needed to basically track you down to get you on the show and have you answer those questions. The first thing I wanted to start with, though, is, now that the documentary is out, how are you guys doing? Let's just start there.
I think we're doing pretty good, actually.
It's been a very interesting ride. Last night we had a pretty heated radio interview, which we were not expecting. They came at us pretty hard, and that kind of came out of nowhere for us because it was a last minute decision. But before that, we've been doing pretty good because I'm living in truth again, exposing some lies I told our viewers, and that's feeling great for me. Nia's getting to bless other couples, other women who've been through the same thing. So can't complain, really.
Okay, good. So I did look at a lot of your posts recently and I saw a lot of the comments. And what's interesting is when you watch you guys on the documentary, I think that, I'll only speak for myself, but I think you guys come across really well in an empathetic light. I think people are very interested in knowing how it happened, what happened, and really want to know what happened to you guys after the fact. So I was puzzled by a lot of the comments that I've seen on your Instagram because it's a lot of people coming from a place of judgment. So before we get into that, I kind of want to spool back a little. And for people that are listening that may not know the entire story or know your story, if you could briefly fill everybody in sort of on the background, how you guys met, what your faith was before you met, your beliefs in marriage, just give me a little bit of background before we get into where a little bit of the drama started.
Sure. I can start off kind of our childhood, I think, is pretty important to our story because we both grew up in broken homes. My dad left me left my mom and a family of eight and just kind of up and left for another woman. And I watched this happen. So that was a pretty traumatic event for me. And Nia kind of went to something similar. But fast forward to when we met.
Yeah, we met when I was only 15 and we started dating when I was 16. And we fell in love super fast. I mean, it was like hard and fast, super codependent and a little bit of an unhealthy need for each other. But there was
Super passionate.
lot of love, a lot of passion. And that carried, it's carried all the way through, even though there's been hard things.
Even until today.
Yeah, all the way through. And we got married after 5 years and our dream day, like the best day ever, best day of our life. And, we had our first child, started getting bogged down with jobs and stuff like that. But, as far as our faith goes, we were both Christians when we met each other. And that had remained a big part of our life as we dated. And then when we got married, things kind of like, it was still there. The faith was still there. But I think because we met so young, there's just kind of like this like need to like rebel maybe on his part. Not so much for me, but I mean, if I did, it was in, different ways. I don't know.
I never purposely tried to rebel. I loved the Lord all through high school. The moment we prayed together, we read the Bible together. We include some notes that we shared with each other in the book that we found that were just all about trying to please the Lord, but just got caught up in sex with each other before marriage, and we hated it. We went back and forth. But we had a relationship with the Lord.
Yeah, we did. And it was still there, even though Sam was, doing bad things. We still went to church together. And yeah, I don't know. So it's just been a part of our relationship from day one.
Okay. And then just briefly tell me what you guys were doing for a living before, obviously, you took a turn and started doing vlogging.
Yeah, sure. Basically, I went to nursing school, became a nurse a year into being married.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was working in retail, but had for a while been just a stay-at-home mom for, a couple years leading up to all of that. So
And we also did wedding photography on the side, the two of us.
Okay. So you guys were hard workers. You understood the value of dollar and also the value of faith in your life. So, what I think people find or are confused about in marriages is that when people cheat, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's not a lot of passion in a relationship or there's something missing. Can you talk on that subject about when, or, just talk on the subject in general? Because I believe, at least from reading your book and also from watching you guys on the docuseries, it seemed like you guys, although you had a lot of new things in your life, working, kids, that you guys were pretty close and passionate.
Yeah, we still were. Um, s- like our marriage was good for the most part. On the surface, it was pretty good, and maybe not at a real deep level. We started compromising with
Like our values, I guess, just compromising
guardrails.
our boundaries, really.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
We still loved each other, and I started keeping things to myself. We kind of got isolated in our marriage so that we weren't really talking with other people. That was really harmful for our new marriage, we see. Um, and my life just kind of, even though I was doing these things, I went to ER nursing because I had this desire to be, I guess you call me adrenaline junkie, but it turned out not to be that at all in ER nursing. It turned out to be basically me helping other people with their drug habits, it seemed like most of the time. But yeah, and then things kind of, where are we at? What are we talking about?
sorry.
Well, I mean, I want to talk about cheating for a little bit because obviously it comes out later that you joined a website, but it
Yeah.
does come out even later than that, that you had been cheating before that. So I don't want to stay on this subject, but I do want to talk about because I think that it's misunderstood a lot where people think that you have to be in a bad marriage or you're, a sex addict or, people blame a lot of things. And I genuinely want to know from your standpoint, what was it that you think you needed to go outside your marriage?
It's such a dumb thing, such a simple way to say it, but actually, like one of the number one causes for infidelity is boredom. Like people get into a monotonous life and they're doing the routine things day after day after day. Some people are good at that and they love that kind of schedule. Nia's one of them, amazing at just being steady. But man, I need a life that kind of just goes up and down, and I have multiple adventures. And I was seeking,
Right.
yeah, adventure. I wasn't a sex addict. No, definitely not a sex addict. I think it might have appeared that way in the documentary. A lot of people accuse me of being a sex addict, but I went out searching for something and I never found it.